We're going to start today's rally with the latest in our series of conversations by local faith leaders, offering their perspectives on what it means to love your neighbor in 2025. Rabbi Eric Polokoff is the founding rabbi of B'nai Israel of Southbury, where he has served the congregation since 1997. He is a teacher, pastor, speaker, and community leader. Please welcome back to Justice Southbury, Rabbi Eric Polokoff.
Friends, it is great to be here with so many longtime friends and to support your activities. I've been honored to address you before on occasion. The last time, just as I was about to speak, a passing driver shouted, "F you," which Rick graciously explained to me meant thank you. At other times, you've seen me wave or heard my car horn. From both first-hand experience and Facebook, I know you've featured speakers with extensive background in social justice issues. This August group has included members of my own congregation over the years, including Lisa Siegel, Sandy Gold, Paul Medina, and esteemed colleagues within our own interfaith community. So given the many thoughtful perspectives already shared since 2020, shared weekly, what can I add? Or add more? And why might you listen to me? The little authority I possess comes from years of being professionally immersed in Judaic study. I trust Jews and non-Jews alike will find that beneficial, notwithstanding various centuries of persecution in various lands. The Jewish people have existed as a community, and the Jewish people have existed within community for thousands of years. As such, our wisdom might be worthy of contemplation, if not emulation. The theme I've been asked to explore, what does love your neighbor mean in 2025, is one whose biblical reference has been a focus of personal attention since long prior to this year or a new administration. I won't test your memory, but as I noted here a few years back, the text is from Hebrew scripture, Ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha. Love your neighbor as yourself, appears at Leviticus 19:18. Jewish sages understood the verse to be klal gadol b'Torah, the great principle of the Torah. Many important lessons are derived from those three Hebrew words, Ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha. Amongst them, that true empathy for others emanates out of self-concern. The great sage Rabbi Akiva taught, loving another is first grounded in respecting oneself. As an heir to such millennial advice, I appreciate that love your neighbor is not a slogan. It is not a generic statement, nor a fatuous, airy prescription. Read in context, the verse is part of the holiness code. Leviticus 19 grounds religiosity in ethical behavior and identification with the source of freedom and human dignity. What's sacred about this guidance is how respect for the source of life translates into care for other lives. Check out Leviticus 19. It instructs us to help the marginal, to assist the poor and the sojourner. It admonishes us not to steal nor cheat. We are commanded that the administration of justice must be impartial, nor can we put a stumbling block before the blind, that is, enabling self-destructive or predatory behavior. The text further stipulates, do not stand idle while another bleeds. We must not be indifferent to the suffering of others. Hence, understood within context, the love and love your neighbor is actual upright activity, not merely passive emotion. Leviticus 19 explains, you might not even like a given neighbor. Nonetheless, you are duty-bound to act towards that person in a manner that is fair and just. What does that mean in 2025? At one level, the same thing as in 2024 or 960 BCE. As synagogue goers and others have understood this instruction, it was intended not just for biblical times, but for all times, for every generation. We must seek to engender respect and human dignity. We must protect those who live at the margins. Whether as individuals or a society, we must never countenance corruption or willfully debase others. Of course, not every generation and not every person enjoys comfort or ease. The scroll of Esther describes Jewry facing existential crisis, a looming genocide. Mordecai tells his niece Esther, a closeted Jew who has just been named queen, who knows, perhaps you were chosen for just this moment. The message, there's ultimately importance in how we face our challenges, utilizing the skills and opportunities we possess. Whether at home, here in America, or in Israel, the homeland of the Jewish people, for me, much of the news is unsettling, to say the least. Nowadays, I frown more than usual as I read on my phone my news subscriptions each morning. Much of what I see is folly and a cynical repudiation of my core values. Yet circumstances have in no way diminished my loyalties or in any way inhibited my American patriotism and love of democracy or my Zionist orientation and affinities. Indeed, the same Torah likewise instructs that there will be setbacks. The saga of the scouts relates how, overcome by fear and poor guidance, the majority are misled. For our part, understanding ourselves to be one community, even those with whom we profoundly disagree, or who jumble any expression of thanks or diversity, we are to be of good courage and to remain engaged. There will be hard times, but perhaps you were chosen for just this moment. Remember, the impetus for this group's founding and initial gatherings was not a successful extension of civil rights, but rather the murder of George Floyd and the awareness that America has yet to adequately address our racial and other disparities. The work is not complete. All sorts of inequalities and injustices continue to plague us. Thus, in 2025, with concepts of inclusion under attack, loving your neighbor as yourself means dedicating yourself to participating in both ongoing advocacy and in an effort to reestablish community that is breaking down. Knowing well my limitations, I leave it to you to envision how best one might honk for Torah. Yet decades of study leads me to avow that the best course for our age begins in committing ourselves to sacred and civic obligations, demanding we respect ourselves and others, modeling civil discourse and healthy debate, appreciating insights forged over the millennia. May our actions promote integrity, and may we never stand idle as others bleed. Ken Yehiratzon, be this God's will. Thank you.